I think that festivals have an ability, if you let go into them, if you let loose, can really teach you a lot about yourself.
But I think the more and more I'm doing these chats, I'm like, I want to go to a festival.
Oh, well then Shambhala is like a big, gay, fluffy hug. That's what it is.
That's what it says on my CV.
Hello and welcome to FairPlay, the Fair's new show exploring journeys through the magical medium of music.
Guests are asked to choose 5 songs which define their journey through life in the industry. Whether it be a song from their first concert, the first act they ever booked, a guilty pleasure, and so many more.
I'm Nicky D.
And I'm Will.
For those who don't know, the Fair are an independent festival production company based in London but producing events across the UK, in Europe, the US, the Metaverse and beyond.
We've created this show as we are keen to amplify a range of voices from across the industry. Whether it be from DJs to promoters, production staff to agents, we've been speaking to people from all across the festival sites.
We've attached a track list in the description below. Take a look and leave a comment.
Welcome everybody to Festival Island Discs, the Fair's new podcast. Joining us today is none other than programmer, promoter, campaigner and event operations guru, Becky Young. Welcome, Becky.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I'm well. Yeah, I'm really good. I have had a very busy week, but I've been like quite on top of it. And when I'm in that mode, I feel quite proud of myself. So yeah, good.
Well, we're proud to have you here today as well. And the reason Becky's probably been so busy is because she's head of operations and community at EarthPercent. She's founder of Anti-Diet Riot Club. She's also a programmer of a wide range of events in London's most famous bars and clubs. So can you tell us a bit more about your journey into the industry and how you sort of got to all those incredible positions?
Well, I think I first started out because I just loved music. I loved raving.
Yeah.
I think I was putting on squat parties with friends when I was 16 at the Lord Napier, which is now the star of Hackney Wick.
Yeah.
And that's really what kind of started the love of like electronic music and bringing people together. That was pre-Facebook, pre-social media. We were doing it all by word of mouth.
Dare we
with
say
leaflets.
MySpace?
There was MySpace. Yes, not old enough for pre-MySpace, but we didn't have any way of like spreading the news online really. At the end of the day, it was like handing out leaflets on the tube to like other students. So yeah, that really gave me the bug for promotion. Yeah. And then when I was at uni, I was a bit of a fish out of water. I went to Oxford and I wasn't the academic that I thought I was. And so I focused a lot of my attention on putting on parties in Oxford. It's actually quite cool because it's an hour away from London and it doesn't have a huge scene. Yeah. So you had the kind of opportunity to bring loads of really like world-class DJs and acts there. Yeah. And they loved it. And it was really close to the capital. And we had some really amazing venues, underground venues, which probably like most of them don't exist anymore, sadly. But yeah, we sort of got really into bringing these incredible headliners to paying 150 capacity venues. Yeah. So then when I left Oxford, I went sort of into music journalism. I worked with magazines and then went more into the event side of things and was working with Mothership, who own like Queen of Hoxton and the Book Club and several venues around East London for quite a few years, and then some other venues. And in the end, actually, promoting and programming kind of took away my love of music, and I realized that it kind of made it very like worky. Yeah. And I wasn't like, I was like, I'm not even listening to new music anymore. I was DJing when I was at uni and when we were putting on these parties, and I had stopped doing that. And I don't know, I just really missed engaging with music and
the love
the
that was
scene.
Sort of first there.
Yeah, with the love. So I actually left that behind and ended up going more into the kind of charity, campaigning, activism world. And that's how I started Anti-Diet Riot Club.
And then when did the festival start coming in? When were they, like, obviously you did all the sort of programming, the partying, and did the festivals almost like reignite your love again for music? And
I have been going to festivals every single year, multiple since I was like 14, 15. So they never disappeared. They've always been like my favorite space and playground and escape. And I've done various jobs at festivals, but actually my most consistent work has been since leaving music, and I ended up going back to festivals doing lots of workshops in the space with Anti-Diet Riot Club. So I kind of left the production programming side of it. For the past about 5-6 years, I've been doing multiple workshops, body positive, mental health, empowering workshops. So a completely different side of festivals. And I get to go as like an artist and not work in the field and have a really good time. So that's been really cool.
But that sounds like you've opened up this whole pathway of like different directions that you can go. So if we go back, we sort of said 6 years, if we go back a little bit further to 2005, the sort of Fields of Reading Festival, and that was
first one.
That was your first one. So what kind of things do you, in your opinion, would draw people to those festivals, specifically sort of Reading?
It taught me a lot about festivals because it's carnage. Reading is pretty intense.
But good carnage, it sounds, if everyone's recommending it.
When I was young, it was like, just bodies on bodies and, cheap beer and warm cider and cider. I don't know, it was just like the basics of a festival, not really anything snazzy or like no production or like other alternative things to do other than music, which I would now expect from every festival that I would go to. And if it doesn't have that, I would be very disappointed. But back then it was just like plug in basic, go in, get smashed, listen to amazing music, leave. The harrowing thing is the Sunday night, which turns into like actual World War III. And people are like, well, I don't know about now, so don't quote me on this.
We're talking about history. This is not
this
obviously
is history.
What's
I
happening
can't
right
be held accountable for any reviews of it now, but it turned into like pure chaos. People were like dragging people's tents around, chucking aerosols onto campfires. Yeah, not nice. But that was just the Sunday. And by then I would be like such a shell of myself that I would just be, I don't know, crying in my tent. But yeah, it was amazing. And that's how I cut my teeth. Yeah. And then I found a bit more gentler festivals after that.
So I think we'll come on to some of the other festivals a little bit later, but you said in that lineup, one of the artists was the Pixies, and that is your first chosen track. So we're going to go to that track now. It's Here Comes Your Man by the Pixies. So a wonderful track. You were saying sort of while it was playing, it definitely took you back.
Yeah, well, I think they got back together a year before I saw them play. So it was an amazing vibe and energy because I'd loved the Pixies a lot in my teens, and I'd never thought I was going to be able to see them live. And then, they got back together in 2004, and I just felt very lucky to see, and Kim Deal's not in the Pixies anymore, I don't think. So yeah, it was special experience.
Like a moment in history that was just like, I was there.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like where I first learned how to like use my tiny little stature to get to the front and push my way through like everyone, through the Queens of Stone Age, through the Killers, and I'm like, I'm here for the Pixies.
You told us another story while the track was playing about a certain group called Rage Against the Machine. Did you maybe tell us that story as well?
Well, after, I think I went to Reading 3 years in a row, and then the fourth year, I wasn't going to go back. I was like, I'm too old. I'm like 17, 18 now. I'm going to go to these other festivals I found, but Rage Against the Machine played, and I just couldn't help it. So I don't know how I managed to break in. And I remember being on my friend's shoulders for Killing the Name Of and just like crying my eyes out and going crazy. But we were saying that I probably wouldn't have had the confidence or the gumption or whatever to even go for one day on my own when all my friends were there, and I just sort of like turned up without like cutting my teeth first at Reading. It made me a bit of a harder woman than I was, I think.
Stronger. More confident. Stronger than yesterday. Hi, Brittany.
Hey, Brittany.
So since then, you've obviously been to countless festivals, and it's created some amazing moments for you. Are there any festivals in particular that really sort of stand out in your mind?
Oh my God, that's hard. I used to play a game where we would do like Family Fortunes vibes at the afters, and then it'd be like top 5 festivals, and you had to guess people's running.
Do you want to guess yours?
I mean, Shambhala's up there. Yeah. Shambhala is like, just a very, very special place and community. It's like being at a house party with your family, even though it's like 15,000 people. But last year, I went to one that just completely blew my mind and blew my socks off. And I've never felt more connected to myself, to 40,000 other people, to like the land, and that was Boom Festival in Portugal. And I don't know if it's my favorite. I've only been once, and it only happens every 2 years, so I'm waiting until next year. But like blew my mind. I can't even put it any other way, really.
What were the mind-blowing moments?
Okay, so I think the way that they've built a kind of community around this boomland, which they bought around this lake in the desert in Portugal, I think it was going to be developed, and then they crowdfunded, all of the like boomers crowdfunded, and they managed to buy this land. So it's actually their land, and they spent 2 years building these art installations and working with the land to make it like livable. I think on their like off year, they do a more no music, more workshop focused one called Being Festival. But yeah, they have these incredible, massive art sculptures, kind of like, you know, what you'd imagine a big burn, but they are there and they're being built for years in advance. I don't even like psytrance, and it's majority psytrance, but I actually went and loved it.
Yeah.
So the sound quality is impeccable. Just the production, the like visuals, it's so well built. Everything is thought about. In every little corner, there is some sort of like thing to engage with or something beautiful to look at. And it's like this natural desert, arid land. And they've even like irrigated it so that there's like vegetables and crops growing, and it's kind of miraculous.
Yeah.
And then in the day it's like sunny and everyone's like covering up from the dust, like it's, I don't know, you're in like a desert storm, and
Like
everyone's
Mad
like
Max kind of vibes.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Mad Max vibes, total Mad Max vibes. Everyone's just like surviving the elements, and there's this big lake which everyone's chilling in as well. And then at night it just like lights up. You just see like all these things you'd pass are like all glow in the dark, and everything's made out of like recycled plastic bottles and recycled things, and it's just like this trippy wonderland that's suddenly at night, and it's like totally different. And it's a week long. The first 2 days they don't even have music, it's just workshops, and everyone goes to the opening of every stage together, like the 3 big stages.
Yeah.
So you're really like on a journey with everyone, and you like slowly build up. It's not like UK festivals where you're like in there, like get as smashed as possible straight away, and everyone's like losing their mind on the
Get to the
Thursday.
toilet, next stage. Off you
Yeah,
go.
go. Like we need to be here, we need to be there, we need to see everything, we need to see everyone, like Glastonbury on speed. It's just like nothing like that. It's like, you know, you really they ease you in. You feel like you're being carried with everyone.
Yeah.
And then you like reach this peak with everyone, and it feels like this massive collective climax of 40,000 people. And then, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's a real journey, very, very immaculately curated and produced. And as someone who has been, you know, in sort of behind the scenes at festivals and knows incredible people who produce them and loves them, to see that like love and effort go into something, and like the real dedication and the like eye on details is like, yeah, means a lot.
I think you definitely sort of put it there with the climax of 40,000 people all together, just, you know, going on this massive journey together. And like you said, with the sort of the community being a part of it, building it up over those 2 years, and having those sort of different details that you just, if one person looks but then another person sees those, because when I was looking I could see those incredible art installations, and it must be incredible to experience that.
Yeah, and it's not my style or aesthetic, like I'm not into that kind of like psychedelic,
But they've still drawn you in.
yeah, like I didn't think I would be into that typical vibe, but it's the way it's done is so beautiful and so thought out. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a pilgrimage or like a commitment, kind of like, you know, a burn or a Meadows in the Mountains. You've got to really be dedicated to getting there, but once you do, it's worth it.
It's definitely worth it.
Worth it, yeah.
So just for the listeners out there, just to recap, so that is
Boom Festival in Portugal.
And you said it happens every 2 years.
Every 2 years. The next one's 2025. Yeah.
So with that sort of live aspect of it, and like you said, we're going to just keep going with it, the climax of 40,000 people, that was going to be like the tagline for this podcast. That from sort of live sets, you've mentioned that obviously Shambhala is one of your favourites, and we're sort of going into your lovely next track now. Why is this one so special to you?
So Shambhala is not really for me about the music.
Yeah.
I love it because people come there ready to be the silliest, most playful, animalistic, helpful, caring versions of themselves, and it's like a special place for everyone who loves it and goes there. But also they do actually have really interesting programming a lot of the time on the main stage that I've never heard of, and lots of bands from all around the world, not often like very well known ones. It's not about the headliners. They don't need that to sell out. They sell out every year without it. But in the year 2022, it was sort of really just coming out of lockdown. I think it was their 20th anniversary, and it was maybe my favorite Shambhala ever. And they brought this band from New Orleans called Tank and the Bangers, and they performed. So I mean, they're from New Orleans, they know how to how to do music. Do you know what I mean? And they performed it so well. It was so like, the sound was really great, and that's not often what English festivals are known for. They just like really captured the whole audience. No one knew who they were. Well, at least I didn't know. And we stayed the whole set, and I was just singing their songs every single day afterwards. And when it's like not a known act like that, and they just absolutely smash it. Yeah, she's so cool. Please, everyone just go like love her, because she's amazing.
This one is Nice Things by Tank and the Bangers. That was obviously at the wonderful Shambhala Festival. So Shambhala is known for being very big on sustainability. You know, that's something that is increasing importance to the festival industry, so yourself.
Yeah.
So you're currently head of operations and sustainability at EarthPercent. This is a charity providing a simple way for music industry to support the most impactful organisations addressing the climate emergency. So EarthPercent is currently working with festivals for 1% that go directly to climate solutions. What does that mean exactly for the listeners out there?
The goal and mission ultimately is to make the earth, Mother Earth, a stakeholder, a shareholder in the music industry.
Love that. Yeah.
So we traditionally, the music industry has portioned off the pie to a lot of different people. We want to give a piece of that pie to the earth, not only as a way of like saying thank you and recognizing the influence and the impact that the whole wider industry has on the planet, but also I just think it is the future of how businesses should be run. There should always be this kind of either nod to who's going to represent the earth on like the board, for instance, or how can we embed something that's benefiting nature, biodiversity and climate solutions while we generate revenue and income and that kind of stuff. So the earth as shareholder of festivals is obviously like an amazing place to start. We have partnered with quite a few day and weekend festivals but in different ways. So people have given like a donation on top of tickets, or some people have given us their guest list donations, and at its most purest form have pledged to give 1% of profits as well, which is a really awesome thing for so many festivals. Thank you for those who've signed up.
Is there anyone who signed up recently that you want to give a little shout out so that people know and more people get on board for this amazing cause? Yeah,
I mean, AVA Festival's happening right now. They are IMS and Ibiza, Gala, Wide Awake. There's some relevant ones in London. Shambhala are very, involved. We've worked with Chris from Shambhala a lot. And we kind of recognize that festivals are already doing so much, I think, in like the event space and in the music world, because they have trying to educate their audience. They're doing a lot of work to try and like improve sustainability and lower the impact and, deal with like audience and artist travel. So actually festivals, and especially independent festivals, are doing a lot of work already. And we kind of think that we should be, focusing on greening and improving the industry, but also trying to use some funds to like help get as much money as possible to the organizations that are really doing some incredible work around the world. So that's like not just in music, but we fund people protecting the Amazon, lawyers taking big oil and governments to court, journalists calling out the corruption of the like oil and gas industry. So we're really trying to like redistribute some of that money to good places.
The start is happening and it's ongoing and it's changing. I think it's great that obviously you're getting so much interaction from all these incredible festivals, and I think that should hopefully spur even more people to want to get involved and want to learn more about it, and hopefully people listening to this podcast will go and look at EarthPercent and try and find out more about it.
I hope so. I think it's a nice way of showing like your audience that like, maybe you can help us make the festival more sustainable. We're also doing our part because we're like giving back to the planet directly, which is great.
So what would your top tips be for people to sort of support that sustainable practice? Obviously going to earthpercent.co.
EarthPercent.org.
EarthPercent.org would be
First
a great
stop.
start.
Yeah, get in touch with us. We're a really small team. We're always up for chatting. I think any journey's got to start somewhere. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think we have this idea that activism or taking action around an issue, especially around climate, people are very scared to put their head above the parapet or to do things publicly or to start on that journey because they're scared of getting it wrong, or they're scared of being called hypocritical or being called out, cancelled. And that is really such a shame because it comes from this like perfectionist culture that we have, I think, right?
Yes, completely.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit of a shame and it stops people from taking action. So for us, we are all about hugging the hypocrisy. Like no festival or artist needs to be perfect in order to try and be a bit better in some ways. At the end of the day, we like in music, there's going to be tours. There's going to be like having to get kit and equipment flown around the world. There's going to be audience travel and artist travel and all of these things, but like it doesn't have to be perfect, but how can we make it better?
Well, it's just that little step, isn't it? It's that little change. And if everyone does those little changes, it just makes an incredible difference.
Yeah, so just get in touch. Let's have a chat. I think there's always so many different ways that we can work together, or like amazing consultants and people in the sustainability world that we can point you towards. I want to get that whatever that action looks like, get it started.
Even like you said, it's just such simple actions, like giving a percentage of those ticket sales from the guest list. It's just such a small change that can create such a massive change.
Yeah, exactly. We've raised £1 million so far, and we've supported 20 grant partners in a really unrestricted way. So it's like really vital funding, and it's amazing that festivals, which are like my favorite things ever, can like also help like grassroots tribes in the Amazon who are protecting from deforestation. And I'm like, that's awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
But I think it's like, you know, you sort of said earlier, like it's, you know, music is your love and it's your passion, and the fact that you can do, you know, you're quite literally helping the planet. The thing that we need to survive and live and, you know, needs to keep moving around.
Yeah.
That love of music is helping that.
Exactly.
Which is incredible.
And there's also some really cool things that I just wanted to shout out that are happening with EarthPercent
Shout
outside
away,
of festivals.
Yeah.
But we're piloting this initiative called the Earth is Your Co-Writer, which means that artists and musicians can actually co-credit the Earth on a song that they write, which is like ultimate, like making the Earth a shareholder. We're literally giving the Earth royalties via the songs that we make. And also in Earth Month, we are partnering with Spotify and UN to make nature a featured artist, so that artists can actually feature nature in their tracks using sound field recordings, but also it can generate money for nature and for the actual areas where those recordings may have been done. Yeah. Helping the biodiversity or whatever destruction's happening in that area. So yeah, I think there's lots of interesting ways that the Earth is going to be given reparations for everything we've done to her.
Well, see, when you think like with the sort of Spotify, when you think of, right, I want to go to sleep or I want to be calm, what sounds are on those songs?
Nature.
It's all earth-based songs and nature. So it's incredible to look out for Earth being an artist on Spotify and support and follow and hopefully raise loads of funds.
Exactly, yeah. If we're going to listen to forest sounds, let's try and actually give some money to the rainforest.
Pay it back.
Yeah, pay it back.
Well, so with those sort of live experiences and specifically festival experiences, your next track, which is Done This by Demolition Man, and this is the Kenny Ken remix. And what is about this track that encompasses your entire festival experience, which is obviously we've spoken about, is quite vast. So just pop it down to this one track. That would be great.
That was such a hard question. How to sum up your entire festival experience in one track? It had to be a drum and bass tune, basically, because so many of my festival experiences is walking around with my friends trying to find drum and bass.
Like I hear it's coming.
Like where is it? Not because I don't listen to other genres, I listen to everything.
No, if that's your one, go for it.
It's just like sometimes that's what you need at a certain time of the day or night.
Hey, I started listening to it and even I started rocking. I
heard this track years ago and I was always obsessed with it, but then I saw Kenny Ken play at Boomtown last year, I think, in like the woods.
Shout out to Boomtown.
But yeah, I did see Kenny Ken last year. I've seen it before, but that was before he'd actually released the song. And it was like typical, like tinny sound. It was like on Thursday night. Everyone's out, but like you can't really hear it because all the sound restrictions mean it's like quite low down. But you're still skanking out even though you can barely hear it. And just like, I think that kind of sums up UK festivals as well. Everyone's there for the love of it, love the party, love the music. Even if you can't quite hear it, you can sense it and everyone's moving and it doesn't really matter. And it's Thursday night and you're excited to just be there, be around loads of sweaty bodies. Everyone's getting ready, gearing up for the weekend.
Would you like to introduce the lovely track to the listeners out there and the viewers?
This is Done This, Demolition Man, Kenny Ken remix.
Wonderful.
I'm glad that I didn't include that one.
We're treating the listeners and the viewers to the wonderful mind of Becky. Yes. So outside of the world of festivals and events, you are a hugely proactive person who's keen to make change, which is fantastic. You are the founder of what we spoke about earlier, which is Anti-Diet Riot Club.
Tongue twister, you got it.
Should we do it again? Anti-Diet Riot Club. Do it faster. Writing against diet culture and fat phobia. Yes, finally. So do you want to tell us more about how that came about?
Yeah, I think it's the origin story is me not having a job, being heartbroken, going through some family really just struggling with my own like self-esteem, body image. I had been dieting since I was 12, 13, various levels of restriction, and I think I just got to a point where I was completely exhausted and sick and tired and at my wit's end. And I was looking for inspiration, like thinspiration on Instagram, which is toxic as fuck. But I actually found instead, I found inspiration to like embrace my body as it is, to work on my well-being in a way that wasn't focused on weight or numbers on a scale. And I found all these incredible body fat activists living their life at all different shapes and sizes and like disabilities and scars, and I just thought like I want to be that kind of person. In fact, I am that kind of person, but I've just been keeping myself limited and small by trying to fit into this like idea of what I should be.
Conditioned and just
and like what society wants me to be, and what I thought growing up was the only way I could ever be a valuable person was if I was like constantly trying to be smaller and thinner. And yeah, it just opened this whole new world for me, and I went into like a deep dive into research about health and weight stigma and fat phobia, and the kind of like how it affected me as an individual, and it affects people, but it's like a systemic wider thing. And I thought, okay, I've learned so much from this over the past year or two. I want to give back, and events is what I knew how to do. So I started putting on these small events in London, gatherings, bringing people together like who were like-minded, and it just kind of exploded from there. I mean, I thought I was one of like a few people who might be into rejecting diets, and it turned out it's like hundreds and hundreds of people, and it grew from there. And I joined up with my co-director Harry Rose, who I met a few months after I did the first event, who also loves festivals, who also loves drum and bass, and who also wanted to reject diet culture. And we were like, oh my God, we've just met a soulmate kind of thing.
The universe just went, hey,
hello. It was like first coffee and love at first coffee. And then we were like, let's take this to festivals. Like that's an amazing arena to open people's minds to a new way of being in our bodies and a new way of engaging with other people's bodies. And also festivals are like a place where people can feel really expressive and like they can be themselves. And often people are like walking around half naked or, you know, doing things they might not do outside of festivals. But then I think there's a kind of unspoken or unconsidered element, which is like not everyone feels like they can access that. And, you know, not only can not everyone access festivals because of various reasons, but it also feels like when you're there, like maybe there's a certain type of body that's allowed to be more on display or allowed to be more carefree. And when you live in a bigger or othered body and you feel different at a festival, it can feel quite isolating and you can feel quite self-conscious. So we were like, actually, this is a great place to go and get people to start rejecting that and trying to think about like how we can make them even more safe and like freedom inspiring for everyone.
And is that so? There's sort of workshops that you do, so like it says, you know, over 20 festivals you've been doing these workshops up, which is brilliant.
Done a lot,
yeah, which is, you know, and hopefully it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. With those sort of workshops, what would a workshop sort of consist of?
Well, obviously we've done quite a lot of talks, so we've been on stage and spoken about, you know, our story and what rejecting and fighting back against diet culture looks like. But what we love doing is the things that get people to like engage with their bodies and are a bit more like creative and playful. So we've done a lot of life drawing, radical life drawing, where people can volunteer to model as well. We do that at Shambhala every year. And we've also done boob printing. Which is just boob printing. That's been really fun. I did that last year at Boom. We've done it at loads of different festivals where you paint your boobs or your bums or your bellies and you print them and create art out of your body, which is awesome. And then we've also done things like size modeling instead of plus size modeling, where we just teach people how to strut and then we create like a catwalk in the festival.
Everyone should strut everywhere. It makes you feel better when there's no wind, but you can make the wind happen.
Oh yeah, just the wind of your own like vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love
so
that.
We've done that at Wilderness, and yeah, just sort of silly ways to bring people together, like, and sort of like secretly drip feed them like rebellious content, but do it so that it's fun, it's festivally, and you know, anyone of any age and whoever can come.
I think, when because I was obviously doing a bit of research before this, and when I just saw the word rebellion, I was just like, yes, thank you. I want to be a part. Cheers, bring me along. With your fantastic platform, are there any other initiatives that you work with or that sort of encompass the same message that you're trying to do that maybe you want to give a shout out today so that more people will know about those as well? Well,
actually, one that I just sort of mentioned was the welfare lot. Run by, co-founded by Phoebe, who I met in a sort of different space in the kind of like feminist sexual violence space. And but she set up the welfare lot, who basically are a group of people who go onto dance floors and support people who are having a bad time, spread good vibes, offer a bit of a different approach to the standard like welfare tent, which can be to people who are having like a bad time if they're on drugs or a bad time because of like personal, social, relationship reasons. They might not want to go to somewhere like that's a bit
taking the welfare
clinical.
through them.
It kind of feels, I don't know, a bit daunting, a bit scary, or too medicalized or something, even though they're often welfare spaces like really, really, you know, and getting better every year, I think. But yeah, they go out to the dance floors and they're really like, they're ravers and they know how it is. And so I'm really, really hoping that a lot of people will like bring them onto site, because I think it could be like really transformative.
So have a look at out for them at your next festival, and for the Anti-Diet Riot Club, where will we see them at next?
Hopefully Noisily Festival, maybe Shambhala. We've never done a workshop at Boomtown. We've done talks at Boomtown before, but I do think having a workshop there would be quite fun because it's the right kind of crowd. But we'll see.
See what happens.
Yeah.
It's time. We're on to your next track.
Oh, God.
We're going to flip back to a lovely place called Glastonbury. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I think I have, yeah.
So this song needs no introduction, but I do believe there is a story that you'd like to tell that goes alongside this.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't have been a song I would have picked if I had, like, this many tracks to pick on a festival desert island.
Yes.
It reminds me of my first ever Glastonbury, which was 2009.
Insert number.
Yeah. 2009,
Yeah.
I think. And this artist was headlining, and I obviously was there to see them. I'd had a very good weekend, maybe too good, because by the time they were headlining on Sunday, I hadn't slept all of Saturday. And I was like, it was baking hot, like absolutely just like, insane heat. And this was when, we didn't have smartphones. I just had like a tiny little whatever phone. It ran out of battery.
Nokia 3210?
Yeah, something like that. I think maybe it was a bit after that. It was like 8 years after the 310. But, still, we didn't even need phones. You just walked around without it all the time. Just carry a pigeon through Glastonbury. That's how you got hold of people. But obviously, I was there with my boyfriend and friends, and I was like, right, well, they're playing today, and I'm going to sleep by the pyramid stage because I don't want to miss it. They're like, no, they wouldn't let me. And I was like, just find me by the big tree.
Yeah.
I'll be sleeping here where everyone pisses, and I'll be fine.
The ground is soft. It's
yeah,
fine.
it's all good. Yeah, it's shade, it's soft.
Yeah.
There's some water spraying sometimes, and I'll be fine. Just come find me at like just before the set.
Yeah.
And they refused. They like dragged me back, and I was so upset. But I was like, okay, we'll set an alarm. So then my boyfriend's phone didn't go off. Ran out of battery while we were asleep.
No.
Then my friend woke up, but obviously doesn't care about this artist, and decided to sit outside my tent for the whole set and not wake me up. I woke up, to this song.
You woke up to
traveling across the Glastonbury site.
Slow motion.
Yeah, and I woke up and I thought, I was like, is this a dream? Wait, what? No, wait, it's dark. What? And I got up and I was just like, opened the tent, and it was just like, this song is like, just it like beautiful voice, like an angel traveling
you
across the site. And I was like, oh my God, what time is it? And it was the end. It was the last song that she played. And I cried. And to be honest, I didn't get over it for years, absolute years, until I saw her play in Wembley. And now I'm fine to talk about it. But honestly, someone played this song like a few weeks ago, which is the reason why I kind of remembered it. And I felt like triggered. I actually was like, this is too much. I can't listen to it. So I'm not going to be listening to this one. But you guys can all enjoy Halo by Beyonce.
So hopefully this one brings you out and gets you through those tough times of when you were running across Glastonbury, half asleep, half dehydrated, just trying to find the artist that you love. So this is Beyonce, Halo. So that was obviously wonderful, the iconic, the incredible, the Queen Bee, with Halo. And obviously we're talking, you listened to some of it, so I was very proud of you for doing that.
I know. This is like progress.
But I hope that helps you even more into progress.
I'm glad it's like a story that I can like use for content now, because at the time it was actually traumatic. Yeah.
We're going to go back to sort of festival fields and the final track. So this is from Secret Garden Party. And do you want to tell a bit more about this special moment at Secret Garden Party?
Secret Garden Party, shout out, is like iconic.
Guest list.
Yeah. Yeah, actually.
Please, go. Thank you.
Iconic because it really, I think, has changed the way that a lot of music festivals expand beyond music and food and drink and that kind of thing. Yeah. It really, I feel, paved the way, and this things that were so new and ridiculous and silly and secret and like novel are now standard across so many different festivals. And I think personally that they owe that a lot to Secret Garden Party. I actually used to run a stage at Secret Garden Party in like 2012, 2013 called The Playpen with some friends, which was so much fun, but also showed me just like how difficult it is to like herd cats and to put a stage together at a festival when you're like 21.
Did you just say herd cats?
Herding kittens, isn't that the phrase? Herding cats.
As in physical cats?
As in, exactly, you can't herd cats. That's the point.
Got you.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely like having kittens and trying to get them all together to make a stage run. It was like in morning to night stage, which is a terrible idea. We had like built this giant Wendy house that people could sit in, a giant ball pit.
Yeah.
We'd built like these giant alphabet blocks, and like it was basically a supersized, oversized playground that was, not for kids, definitely for adults. And I've had so much fun at Secret Garden Party over the years, and we had such a great crew. We've all been going since we were young. We all know how to do a festival right. Like, no complaints from us, because we were just like top vibes the entire time. Yeah. And there were so many of us. And this moment was like Sunday, I think, at the Pagoda stage, which is this beautiful stage on the lake. And you've got like queue to get in normally, but our mates were closing the Pagoda stage. So we like managed to get like 30 of us snuck in round the sort of side, but we got there really early to try and get on with like a massive group of us. And this act were playing. I think I'd heard of them before, but I'd never seen them and never really listened to their music. Anyway, I was in a great state of mind. Yeah.
Excellent.
And it was a beautiful night, a beautiful sort of sunset. And on this lake, the sun was setting red, like so red, and like the colors were like splashed everywhere. And they do this thing where they get the red arrows to fly in the sky. And they did this like big heart in the sky, and it was like pink because the clouds were so pink. And it was like I honestly, it was like someone had painted this picture of this like red sunset, massive pink heart in the sky, and everyone was just like colorful, and I was like sobbing with joy. And this song came on, and I thought they were saying, "This song is my brain."
Okay.
And that's what I felt like at the time. I was like, this song is my brain.
They know.
Yeah, they know. And it was like, they're really epic, euphoric DJ producers who I'm a big fan of now, actually. I think I went to Secret in July 2022, and already in my Wrapped, they were like my number one artist. So I listened to them non-stop after going Secret. And yeah, it's just like ultimate rave euphoria. Can't not like just want to get up and dance.
Well, as this song is your brain, it feels only correct that you should introduce it.
Okay. But I now can't remember what the song is called.
So I will introduce it on your behalf.
Yeah, because it's now all I can think of is this song is my brain. But it's Prayer.
There you go.
Prayer. That's it. It's by Prosper. This song is called Prayer.
We're back. Hiya.
Hi.
So that was, we were talking about the synths, we were talking about the drums, we were talking about the 80s songs there. I think that whole sort of scene that you set, I was there. I was with you. So I think that definitely sort of transformed me. So if we can talk about the sort of transformative feelings that you have about festivals and how that helps people.
Wow, I have a lot of thoughts on the power of festivals.
Let's go.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think about how to sum it up, because I think that like anything in life, they're not all good. And, they have ebbs and flows, not even just within the festival, but during the weekend. I had this revelation last summer that actually there's points at festivals where I don't have a good time. Yeah. I'm tired and feeling lonely. There's like a lot of people around, but somehow I feel lonely. Yeah. Or I'm feeling self-conscious, or I'm like not finding the music or the vibe or the experience that I want. And I think at the time that there's something wrong with me, and that like I'm doing something wrong. Yeah. I'm doing the festival wrong. Yeah. Like everyone else having this amazing time.
What can I do better?
Yeah. What am I doing wrong? Like what do I need to improve on? Or like, I need to like go and do this thing. And I'm like, oh, that didn't actually make me feel better. Yeah. But I realized this was at the end of summer last year, that I actually have that at one point during every festival, especially if it's like a long, 4-day thing. Of course, you're not going to feel amazing the whole time. Yeah. But it was such a learning for me, because I think that what it teaches me is like just to ride that and accept it and be like, okay, I think everyone else is having this amazing. I'm comparing myself to everyone else.
Ask them.
Yeah. But actually, I think everyone's going on this like up and down journey, and I don't need to compare myself. I need to just be present in the moment, and I'm not going to have the euphoric time that I just described on Pagoda stage at all moments. You can't have that, because you need to have the lows in order to have the highs. And I think festivals like a microcosm of life, and they always teach me something. And I sound like such a mad hippie saying that, but I get so many learnings at festivals about how I relate to myself, how I relate to other people, like how I you know, just so much about my feeling, my experiences, my body, my mind, my like limits, how I need rest and food and sleep and all those like basic things. And I'm not just like this party machine that can just dance. So yeah, I think that festivals have an ability, if you let go into them, if you let loose, can really teach you a lot about yourself. They're just this incredible playground to experiment. Yeah. So like, pretend you're a cat all weekend, or dress up like an old granny, or like be your most wild, ridiculous, loudest self, or like retreat and go find the woodworkers and the fairies who are just like, I don't know, doing little things in the corner. Spend the whole weekend in the sauna. Like, there's so many ways in which you can play with like your body and your mind and meet new incredible people. So I just think that everyone should be able to have these experiences. So like, big up to all the people who run them and put them on and risk so much money and mental sanity to make them happen, because they're the best thing that the UK does and they're not appreciated enough.
Well, hopefully, I mean, now with all the wonderful stories that you shared with us, we really appreciate you coming on today. Hopefully people have learned more out there. And yeah, we thank you so much for being part of this journey with us. And we can't wait to see where you go next. And again, just for all the listeners out there, earthpercent.org and also Anti-Diet Riot Club.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's been a lovely chat and lovely like walk down memory lane.
You're most welcome. Lovely to have you. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
Bye. A huge thanks for tuning into FairPlay today. We hope you've enjoyed hearing tales from across the festival site.
Subscribe to the Fairs channel and follow our socials for more content.
See you next time.
Bye.